Hi everyone, this is Voice Production, Tricks of the Trade and Lessons Learned from the World of Film by Dmitry Novikov. Take it away.
Hello everyone, thanks everyone for coming. It's great to see so many people here. Sound is awesome, so I'm pleased to see such a huge crowd. My talk is quite short, it's only 15 minutes, so I'm not sure we'll have time for any Q&A, unfortunately, but if we do, great, and feel free to say hi after the talk. Happy to answer any questions. First of all, briefly about me. As you probably guessed from my outrageous Russian accent, I was born in Russia. Moved to Christchurch in 2010, right after the first quake. That was exciting times. Moved to Wellington in 2017, and since then I worked on multiple international feature films, TV series and short films, including Mortal Engines. I won an award for the best sound design for short film Zealandia in Los Angeles Short Film Festival last year. Joined fantastic Pickpock company in January 2021. And I edited and processed all the voiceover for the Agent Intercept. Alright, so when we think about a soundtrack for a film or a game, it's broadly speaking we can say it consists of three different parts. First one is a sound design, which includes sound effects like, I don't know, explosions, hey. Another part is Foley, which is human sounds like footsteps, for example, and the other one is ambiences like winds, like environmental sounds, and obviously sound design itself, for example, spaceships or something that doesn't exist, like a creature. Another part of any soundtrack is a dialogue, and obviously music. But what's the order of importance? Anyone want to make a guess? What's the always come first? Dialogue. Exactly right. Dialogue always come first. There's a multiple reasons for that. First of all, dialogue is a quintessential part of storytelling in films and in games as well. Dialogue is unique. You can't really buy a dialogue library. It's unique for every project, and it's also quite expensive to record and to edit. Then comes the music, and last is sound design. The coolest part is always comes last. Sad but true. As I worked in the film industry before I joined Pickpock, I've noticed there is a couple of differences between film and gaming industry regarding dialogue. And first one is obviously most of the dialogue in films and TV series is recorded on location, which is quite different from obviously dialogue in the games because it's all recorded in the studio. And another difference is loudness. Dialogue in games way more louder than in films. It probably doesn't sound like that, but because we usually, or most of the films kind of by default it's assumed it's going to watch them in cinemas with the huge sound systems, but dialogue in games must be loud because people listen it on headphones, earbuds or iPhones and the speakers. Alright, so there is a example of production sound.
Hello, my name's Tim. I'm standing outside the Pickpock building. It's raining. There's cars everywhere. Yep.
Amazing performance by a fantastic voice actor. Tim from Pickpock. As you can hear, there's a lot of background noise. Like there's a car pass by, there's people walking, there's a rain. So obviously there's a lot of editing needs to be done before this dialogue can actually hit the mixing stage in any film, for example, because one of the reasons if you just want to make it louder and just turn the volume up, all the background sounds will also increase in volume, so it can get quite noisy. In comparison, there is example of voice acting for Agent Intercept.
They're firing on a city. Change of directive. Stop that missile.
So as you can hear, is A louder, and B is very clear. So you can push it in the mix, make it more present. But that's really two main differences I've noticed so far, and way more similarities. And the main similarity is in the film and in the game, we always look for the right performance, for the right, for this particular line, for this particular scene. We're also always looking for high quality recordings, which will in turn help us to push the dialogue louder or perform better editing. And another one is data wrangling. There's a dialogue always comes with a huge amount of data. For example, if you have a character in your game with 300 lines and you record 5 takes for each line, it's 1500 files already. If you have 10 characters in the game with roughly the same amount of lines, so it's like you're looking at a lot of data. And in films, it's even worse. So there is a few tips from me regarding dialogue. First, creative tips. Always know your script and your characters. Watch film 1,000 times, play the game all the time before you hit the stage and record the actor. Just live and breathe this project. It helps you then in turn to understand what you actually want from the actors, because the last thing you want to do is show up on the stage unprepared and they just just give me something. Actors need direction, they want to understand, they want to feel that you actually know what you want from them, because otherwise they can get lost and it all get quite ugly, and at the end of the day you will not have what you want or producer want from you. And be super organized. Double check, triple check everything. Make sure that you don't miss any lines, because if, for example, you missed one line in your preparation and then only discover that after the recordings were done, basically you have to record it again, just one line. And for example, in the films, like top actors, they have a flat rate of, for example, $50,000 for one day. So one line can get really expensive. And also it's a lot of time that's wasted. So some technical tips regarding preparation for recording sessions. Use database or spreadsheet with all the lines it takes in one place. That will allow you to actually navigate and find the data that you want and line that you want really quickly. Saves your time. Make sure you have a really bulletproof folder structure and file naming convention. And if you work as a part of a team, make sure that every member is on board and understands that. Just don't name the files audio 1, audio 2, audio 3. If you, the final take, it's like can get really bad. When you need to find something quickly. And the thing is, you remember this now, but next day you forget about it. And also know your studio equipment and microphones. Make sure that we use the right ones. So that's the example of ADR Google spreadsheet I designed for the Agent Intercept. The beauty of this, the first obviously is I designed it, but the main thing is it's a Google spreadsheet. So the team who went to Auckland were able to actually access this spreadsheet, all of them at the same time, add notes. So you can see there is a area for notes. You can see there is a pop-down menu for the missions and crises, file names, string names. So you can mark the takes, which in turn helped me on the editing stage to find the selects. What take was the select that the producers decided to go with. Again, it's all organized in one place. Saves you a lot of time. Regarding the recording itself, if you multiple people marking the takes, make sure you guys on the same page. So left to right, top to bottom. Record flat, no compression or EQ. That's my preference. Just simply because it's easier to add on the later stages than to try to remove the problem. And also, don't forget we hired the actors for their voice, so we want to preserve it. Make sure there is no clipping or distortion. So if you record the actors, keep an eye on your gain levels, and if it's a loud line coming up, just reduce the gain. If you are supervising the session, keep an eye on the recordist. Make sure there is nothing on the actors that can rustle, like chains, necklaces, stuff like that. All those kind of sounds can be removed potentially on the editing stage, but again, it's just increase the editing time, and why we need to we don't need to have the problems really. Make sure there is a water for the actors, otherwise mouth get dry, can get clicky, and make sure that microphone position is right. It's not like off axis or anything. Regarding the editing, few tips. Always edit only selects. Don't try to impress everyone and edit all the takes, because at the end of the day, producers or writers will just want what they selected. Control plosives and sibilances, which can make dialogue sounds really harsh and unpleasant. Remove low end bumps, for example, when an actor accidentally hits the microphone. Remove artificial clicks. Basically, just make sure the dialogue is clean and pleasant to listen to. Regarding the processing, work on your processing chain before you actually start editing. Try different things, experiment, but settle down and don't do it while you edit. Compress and limit in incremental steps. Don't just put the limiter at the end and slam it to bits. Incremental steps helps you to keep dialogue alive and sounds more natural. Make sure you control low end, because if it gets overwhelming, its dialogue can sound quite muddy, difficult to understand as well. Probably obvious advice, but listen. Listen, don't rush, and EQ appropriately. Try to correct and kind of remove the frequencies that are problematic. And generally speaking, we're looking for dialogue that should sound bright, open and airy, so not like boxing down, something like that. So we want dialogue be really open, easy to understand, bright. So basically, some high frequencies, if needed, you should add. Some mid-range frequencies you can scoop out and remove. And of course, consistency. Don't change your approach right in the middle of the project because you wake up one day and say, I just want to try something different. Don't do that, because then you will have to spend more time, reverting back. And last, some software that I found really, really useful through the years. First of all is Isotope RX. It's absolutely mind-blowing piece of software that can do absolute wonders with especially production sound. Can clean it up, you can remove pretty much everything. It helps you to make dialogue presentable and really good. It's plenty of tutorials online if anyone interested. It's literally if anyone asks me what one piece of software you want to use to the end of your life, that's gonna be it. FabFilter Pro EQ, absolutely amazing EQ for dialogue, really clinical. You can do surgical EQs, fix problems, and also really transparent. FabFilter Pro Compressor, great. And FabFilter Pro DSA is amazing to controlling sibilances. But generally speaking, FabFilter is awesome plugins. There's another plugin called MCDSP SA2 Dialogue Processor, which I use on the dialogue bus. It just helps to make dialogue sound silky and smooth. I don't know how it works. It's a magic. I'm not sure people who made it knows how it works, but it works. It works. And good reverbs, plenty of options on the market really. It's just preference and taste. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. I think if we have time for Q&A, that will be good. 1 minute for questions. Yeah.
Questions from anyone? Any questions? We got one.
How would you know what are the most important frequencies to get rid of if you're listening to an audio take?
I think, first of all, the more you listen and the more you edit dialogue, the more your ears get tuned to this dialogue in general. There's obviously like areas around, say, 2K that can get problematic in terms of boxiness of dialogue. So there's like general rules that you can sort of Google and see. But also the main thing, like, for example, Q3 has the graphic representation of like waveforms, sort of, so you can see the spikes as well. But basically, the reality is that the more you do it, your ears are getting like accustomed to the frequency of problematic, and you just know where to reach. So yeah. But also like modern tools just really can help you with that. With like, for example, isotope, you can see it, like it's visually like bright, like orange kind of color, or FabFilter Q3 you can see, oh, there's some spike in this area, so probably I should just kind of try to tame it down. All right, that's it. Thank you very much for coming.